determining a lag time, that will tell us a whole lot as far as whether we're back on air in the right format that we should. So please let me know what happens now. Let me go ahead and requeue these different products here, and then we'll get right back with the show. I couldn't do this without all of you, but of course you already know that. Let's go ahead and see if we can get rid of the lag time. We're going to get all these things set up the way it should be, and then we'll move on. Let's go ahead and see if we have taken care of the lag time issue. Okay, tell me folks, how is our lag time? How is our lag time? I am waiting for some answers here from my good people. How is our lag time doing right now? Yes, it's up again, Michael Rudnin. Great. So we are looking good. We're looking good. Okay, check in. Rudnin, it's okay. What about OTCH? Is it okay? Bridge MCP, lost it on YouTube and FB. What we're doing right now is we requeued the show because somebody said we had a 30-second lag time. That is actually unacceptable. So we're back again, and I think the lag time is gone. Okay, good. Hope Bleeker, how are you doing? How is South Carolina doing with us right now? We didn't win the election, but it will get better. Christine Park, no lag. Excellent. We don't have lag. I am not sure exactly what caused the lag, but give me a few seconds to. Hey, great. It's okay, Hope. I'm glad that everything is going perfectly out there in now I hope, let's see, anybody that's helping out Georgia, give me a shout out. I want to see how many people we have here that are helping out Georgia. We know Georgia needs some help right now from the entire, there goes the music on FB. No. Actually, I don't think we should be on FB. I think FB, you have to go to a new site now, or rather a new event. Okay, let's see. Bridge MCP, there goes music on the FB feed. I think it's the other one. We don't have any, I didn't cue any music on this particular one here. So go ahead and try the new, refresh your Facebook page, refresh your YouTube page, and everything should be fine. Tank 28 says that the earth is flat. Okay, folks, what's happening in Michigan? Last night, something happened in Michigan that is of very much concern, and it should be of concern to many of us. And let me explain what I mean by that. Two people, potentially, the way they voted in Michigan yesterday, could have thrown a wrench in this election because they decided not to certify. They decided not to certify the election in Michigan. Let's say a few other Republican states, which, by the way, there are quite a few Republican states. Let's say a few other Republican states decided that they wanted to just not certify the election. What we see here is the possibility, not that it's going to happen, the possibility that using all kinds of shenanigans, what could actually happen in this country is that, well, the election goes. Because if we go to the House, if we don't have elections certified on the state level and it gets thrown to the House, what happens then, and this is important for us to realize, what happens then is the different delegations from states, they are the ones who then choose the president. If that occurs, what happens then is because there are more Republican delegations than there are Democratic delegations, what could occur then is all these delegations could decide to say, oh, we are going to make President Trump the president, even though likely 6 million more people would have voted for Donald Trump as opposed to voted or rather 6 million more people voted for Biden as opposed to voted for Donald Trump. I want to talk about this before we get started. I want to talk about our Constitution. We like to brag about our Constitution. We like to brag about how great we are. We are not, what's the word they use? We are preeminent. There's a special word that we use. We are exceptional. There is no other country like ours, and we're really starting to see that, aren't we? But the truth of the matter is the Constitution has quite a few errors in it. And a lot of people don't like to accept those words. The Constitution is a far from perfect document. The Constitution has issues. And the fact that there is a legal way for Donald Trump to still, I mean, it's likely not going to happen, folks, but there is a legal way, constitutional way, for Donald Trump to, we call it steal the election. It's a sham. It's a shame. It shows that the Constitution is not this document that should be fallible. And it is possible to create a fallible document that's not fallible. We could simply say we elect the president based on the popular vote, and that person, when elected president, he has to leave immediately. Therefore, he can no longer sabotage our country. It is something that we should think about. We have a lot of problems, and these problems demand solutions. But we're not going to ever have solutions if we cannot generate a large consensus of people. I mean, modifying the Constitution takes what's called a constitutional convention, where enough states vote to say we want to change the Constitution, or we can do it inside of the Congress by having the three-fourths majority. Let's see. Breach says, yeah, what's with the 3-month wait anyway? It's 70 days, right? Or 70 something days. The 20th of, let's see, the 20th of January. So I think it's 70 something days. I think it is, the intent of that is to create some sort of a transition. But I think we need to codify in law that during that transition, nothing can change. Because as you can see, Donald Trump has done a whole lot in that transition so far. Pulling troops out. Actually, I'm kind of for pulling troops out, but he's doing a whole lot of shenanigans with what's going on right now. All right, let me salute everybody that's here before I go on into the program. Para ver. Let me go ahead and get there first, and let's go ahead and view on YouTube. Welcome aboard. Let's see. Welcome aboard. Bridge MCP, welcome aboard. Michael Rudnin, welcome aboard. Tank 28, welcome aboard. Mick Bahaha, welcome aboard. Mick Cooks, welcome aboard. Let's see who else is here, because I have Lee Grant. Lee Grant, how you doing, my friend? Welcome aboard. Say that again. No, I won't say that again. AVQ, welcome aboard. And of course, we also have Hope Bleeker, Christine Park. And let's see who else is with us. Let's see, we have Norman Reynolds. Welcome aboard, my brother, mi amigo caribeño. And great, so we're ready to go. Anyhow, Egg Busy, is that my new name? Need a MAGA hat? No MAGA hat for me. Ranked choice vote in parliamentary laws regarding congressional seating, gerrymandering, lack of... There is so much. You're absolutely right, Michael Redden. Well, anyhow, in that light, I had an interview a few weeks ago with a young man. This is a black, right-wing Republican conservative. I think he's more shocked than anything else. But I wanted to talk to him because, getting an audience that listens to two people discuss these issues have a tendency to plant seeds. Not necessarily into people like our brother here, Tank 28, but in quite a few people. So what I'm going to do without further ado is get started with our interview, and then we'll move on from there. Tell me what you think. So let's go ahead and get busy. Welcome to another edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Experto Willis, your host. I'm here with the one and only conservative. The black dude here is a conservative that I want to kind of get into his mind. Tyler Bluntman, how are you doing today? Welcome to Politics Done Right.
What's up, man? I appreciate you inviting me on, man. It's definitely awesome to be here.
Well, I mean, I talk to everybody. I like to hear other points of view. I like to make sure that everybody have their hearing. We're not supposed to think alike.
Right.
But there are certain things that are absolute. Would you agree?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, maybe.
Coming from a conservative,
I mean, the sky is blue. That's absolute. So,
well, actually, the sky is not blue, so that's not.
So I guess it's not absolute.
Anyway, I'm an engineer, so you got to be careful, brother. Okay.
Yeah, you're right. I should have said something different.
Yes. All right. Anyway, look, welcome aboard. I'm going to tell you, I went to your TikTok channel. Okay. After as one of our listeners, a good friend of mine, I think she's a conservative as well. She said, Egberto, you got to check out Tyler. Do you know her? Is she a friend of yours or something? She said,
Yeah, she's a mutual Facebook friend of ours. Yeah.
Right. And she said, I need to check you out and talk to you. I think what she really wanted to do is she hears me a lot. She hears you, and she probably wanted to say, kind of standing in between and want to see what things are all about. First of all, where are you from?
Florida, man.
Florida. How old are you?
20. Oh shit. No, I'm 30 now, man. I just turned 30. So
you
yeah,
are
I'm
old, man.
I know, dude. To be fair, I'm old on TikTok.
Right.
I am averagely aged on Instagram, and I'm super young on Facebook.
Trust me, I know. I am one of the old ones on Facebook. I just try to kind of hide my age. You know what I mean?
But no, man. You do it well, man. You do it well.
Well, look, I appreciate that. And let me tell you, you are so entertaining on your channel. I'm going to tell my progressives to visit you because, I think when we do that kind of stuff, we're kind of nice to others. Now, you're generally not very nice to people. Let me just tell you that. But
why do you think I'm not nice?
Well, sometimes you hit them pretty hard, and
that doesn't mean that doesn't mean I'm not.
No,
nice.
but I feel sorry. I feel sorry for some of the people that you hit because you are so good at what you do that they don't stand a chance. Yeah, they don't stand a chance. And I sit down there and I'm like, oh God, they gonna get it, and they get it, But anyhow, tell me a little bit about your life. How did you grow up?
We didn't really discuss politics in my home, man. When I didn't even get into politics until I was 26, like 4 years ago. So yeah, man, I grew up in just about every walk of life that you could think of, man. I grew up in rat infested motels in Baltimore, and I grew up in trailer parks, and then I went for a time to go live with my grandmother in Florida. That's when I relocated to Florida when I was like 7 or 8, and she had a really nice neighborhood, like gated community and all kinds of good stuff, man. So I pretty much walked every walk of life, man, from being super poor to living in a wealthy neighborhood and things like that, man. So I think that I've seen a lot of things like over my 30 years of life.
Yeah, well, actually, you've seen more than a lot of people have seen. If you live from trailer home to rat-infested motels and all that kind of stuff, you've seen it, brother. You've actually seen it. Now, what kind of schools did you go to?
So I went when I was like really small. When I went to go live with my grandmother, I went to a private school for a little bit, and then I went to like a magnet school. So that I went to like a magnet school. I always did like really well in school, so it wasn't really that difficult to place me there. Then when I got into more adolescence, and then I became, I was an angry teenager, man. Like I was an angry kid. There were a lot of things going on in my life.
Why were you angry?
It's just home stuff, like things going on with my mom and stuff like that, man. So it was a very confusing time for me. It was very confusing, and I didn't really have anybody to like lean on and things like that. So I got real involved with like hip hop and listening to hip hop and things like that.
By the way, you're good at it. I heard some of your rap. You're good.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But so I got real involved with that, and I was just angry, man. I was just an angry kid, and so I started getting expelled from school. I think I've been expelled 3 times. So I went to alternative schools, and that was different from going from a magnet school, right, to go into an alternative school. It's very different, man. And I had to kind of learn and adapt and understand, man. I'm half Irish and half Jamaican, man. So, and I grew up with my Irish side, my white family, right. Never met that typical black statistic, you know what I mean? Never met him. So I grew up there. So at home, I'm surrounded by, white folk. And then I go to school and, alternative schools, which are predominantly black and whatever. And, I had to learn to not be a sheep and be a wolf, because people see just things like that, man. It was a different climate, right? It wasn't 2020. You know what I mean? It was a few years ago. So people would try and pick things about you like, oh, well, your mom is white. You live with a white family. You would live with whatever. And my mom was gay too. My mom is straight gay, like very gay. You know what I mean? Which isn't an issue, right? It's just like
actually it is an issue based on what I listen to you talk about LGBT.
Well, no, it's not an issue for me. I don't believe it to be. I don't promote that lifestyle.
Right.
It's just not my thing. But it wasn't like discriminate. I don't discriminate against people like that, right? But like growing up, it was almost like you looked upon as some like bad thing. So people would try and get on me for that.
So was it your mother that was white or your dad that was white?
Bro.
Was your mother white or your dad white?
My mother is white.
Okay, good. And your mother was also gay?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Continue.
Yeah. So basically, saying that, you got all these other folk around you, a bunch of hood motherfuckers typically when you're, excuse me. Oh my God. Can I curse or can I not curse?
I'll bleep that one out. Don't worry about
it. Bleep that. Okay. A bunch of hood people around, you know what I mean? Everybody wants to be a wolf when you're in like alternative side of schooling and, going in those types of areas. And I just wasn't going to be a sheep, man. So, I mean, if people were going to try and get on me, I don't care what you look like, how big you were. Like I had to make sure that I stuck up for myself, man.
Yeah. Now, so that happened, I guess, in high school, middle school,
middle school and high school. Yeah.
Yeah. What about college? What was your college life like?
I dropped out of college, I think 3 semesters in. I went to college.
What was it like? You were there. What?
No, it's no issue. I mean, I didn't live on campus. I went to school. I did my, I did my work, and then I went home. You know what I mean? It was really, there was nothing really much to it.
Okay. Now, when did you said you got into politics about 4 years ago. Why did you do that?
Yeah, man. So it was in the Donald Trump 2016 election with him and Hillary and all of that, right? And it was a big thing. It was a big thing. I didn't really know much about Donald Trump other than, that's the dude from The Apprentice, right? So I didn't really know much about him. I wasn't involved in that type of stuff. And my uncle, like very into politics, like very, like, I mean, it's always like a political debate when my uncle is around, right? And he's like, dude, you're 26 now. Don't you think that you should have an opinion on the country that you live in and, how these people see fit to govern your lives? And I was like, well, that makes sense. You know what I mean? I probably should get into it. So then I got into it and I started researching, Democrats and Republicans. And I was like, well, definitely not a Democrat. And I was looking over here. I was like, nah, I'm not a Republican either. You know what I mean? And I was like, okay, so I was more on the libertarian side. I was like, okay, so I think I fall in line more with this. But I'm just more socially conservative in most aspects. So okay. now I don't even consider myself any of those. I really just go by a constitutionalist, man. So like I'm a constitutional conservative, which basically means that I hold the Constitution to a fairly high regard. And I believe a constitutionally limited government.
Well, I mean, I think you're saying you have a basis. So you don't suffer. I did a lot of going through of your material.
Were you about to say suffer from Trump derangement syndrome? Was that what you were going to say?
I don't think you suffer from the Trump derangement syndrome.
No, I definitely don't.
No, I don't think you do. You see, the issue is this: there are 2 things that I noticed in researching my research on you involved researching your TikTok channel. Okay, and because I find that when you get somebody just spouting off a lot of things, you learn a whole lot from them. Yeah. And what I find is, I found that you were extremely intelligent. There are not too many people who can keep up with the speed of your thoughts when you're in a debate. It's very hard for most people to keep up with the speed of your debates. And thirdly, you're and take this from the point of view that I wanted to come across, and that is you're a hell of an entertainer. And a lot of what you do has entertainment value, because I noticed that what I was doing was being entertained by what you were saying. Okay.
Yeah, it's important. That's important when you're trying to engage with people.
Right. Unfortunately, though, Brother Tyler, is that even though you use in all of your interpretations, you use a lot of stats and whatever, and I see you decimate people with stats, right? And I sit down and I'm like, oh my God, he's going to get you there, because you have to go one step before. You just said that you were a constitutionalist, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me why.
I just believe that it is I believe in the founding fathers' intent, right? So the founding fathers really just understood, I mean, coming from, the Revolutionary War and all of that, we really just then understood that, look, government is corrupt. Not even just government, people are inherently corrupt the more power that they get, right? It's just, it's really just human nature. And government definitely becomes more and more corrupt the more that power that they have, the more that they are able to outgun their citizens. And I believe that. And I just fell in line with that whole thing. I believe that the constitutionalist, it just means really that the government should be limited in power, and most power should be held with citizens, right? So like you and me, and also at the state level instead of at the federal level, right? Each state, we're a republic of states, right? So like each state kind of has their own rights to say what we want to do over here compared to what the federal government may want to do themselves. So I just believe that.
And you know, and I'm super happy that you say that that is what you believe. My next question to you would be, first of all, by the way, we have some commonalities. I have a whole lot of Jamaican roots as well. I'm Latino and Jamaican at the same
Well, I don't
time.
know my Jamaican roots, man. So that's
You don't know any of your Jamaican roots?
No, I never met that side of my family. No, man.
Well, you're still young. May I suggest that you do so? Because there's a whole lot of history there that would probably come to pass. I know nothing about that side for you, but you'll learn a whole lot, and you'll probably pick up some of the values that I actually have as well, both Latino, Caribbean, and otherwise, and why we can have a sensible conversation. I don't believe I believe that the founding fathers did. The only thing I think the founding fathers did well was to establish a document that had elasticity in it, which means that could be changed. That is my opinion, which differs a bit from you. I find nothing redeeming about the document in most areas. I find nothing redeeming in the document.
Well, the document is just centered around limiting the power of.
That's what they like to say. They do say.
That's not what they like to say. Like that's what it is. Do you not believe that it is?
I know I don't believe that it is at all, because I think once you are able to say that that we get into the situation, 3/5 of a person, we get into the situation where it dictate the rights of the states and otherwise. No, it's a dictatorial document as well, which it should be. I'm not denying that it shouldn't be. It should be. What I do not like about a lot of folks that talk about constitutionality about these documents is that, I'm sorry, as enlightened as those people were in 1776, they don't have a clue of the issues that govern 2020, 2021.
That's a completely fallible argument, man. So what you're saying is that so tell me exactly how government is different, how people in general are different, and how government is different between 1776 or 1789 and today.
Well, I mean, there's much. We are more intelligent. We know that one group of people shouldn't be controlling certain things.
How would you even measure that? That we're more
I don't want to measure. Here's the deal. I don't want to measure it because I know.
So you don't know, so you can't.
No. Here's what I'm saying. I can assert that if these guys came and saw an airplane, they wouldn't know what the hell they were seeing. Okay,
so we're more technologically advanced, man. That doesn't mean that. And that has nothing. And just to be clear, I asked you a very direct question. You're kind of skating around my question.
No, I'm not skating. I'm not skating. Okay. What I'm saying is simple. People think differently. If you were walking the streets of 1776. You would be looked at differently from the people see things differently in 1776. That has nothing to do with what I had. It has everything to do with it.
Let me rephrase, because I feel like you're just kind of going around what I'm asking.
Go for it. Rephrase.
So what I'm asking you is, how are people different? When I say people different, I don't mean racially different. I mean, how are people different in their ways for human nature when it comes to things like ambition, when it comes to things like corruption, right? How are we different?
We are different because in the past, I'm glad you said ambition. Ambition is a perfect example. The ambition of certain people, the ambition of women, were kept in check based on how people lived in 1776. In 2020, that's different. So ambition is not a good example. Now I see the point that you want to make. The point that you want to make is that human values in general don't change over time. And that I will agree with.
That's not the point I'm making. That's not the point I'm making.
Well, that's the only point I think you could make.
How is government different today than it was before? The only thing that's different is that they have more power, which really
wrong. Let me explain to you.
Because, please.
Yeah, please. It's important. One of the ways that we control issues in this country is we first have to abstract government and the people. When even the founding fathers in their literature, in their work, and let's even talk about Federalist 10, but we don't have to necessarily go there. Our government had a tendency to want us to believe that we the people, and we the people is government. Now, if you
no, we the people is not government.
Let me finish. We the people of the United States is the government we want to form. In other words, we want a government of and by the people. It's actually in the document, right? A government of and by the people, correct?
Sure.
Good. However, if you start to abstract the people from government, we get a lot of what has instructed you. And I understand why. I mean, that is a theory. The theory is that if we can abstract government from people, then they can look at that as some externality, which it isn't. The truth of the matter is a lot of complaints that you as a conservative have is right, is correct. You know, we can talk about certain types of bureaucracies. We can talk about a lot of those issues, but that was at the will of the people. If we want to change that, we the people can. It's not some bureaucracy that cannot be changed. But the thing that a lot of conservatives, in my humble opinion, do is they take power away from people. And by taking that power, they're saying that thing called the government, you don't have control over. And that's where that is, I think, the fundamental difference between somebody like myself and you. I have more faith in we the people being able to be the government and not think of the government as some external force.
I feel like that just completely skated around what I was saying, but no worries.
Do you understand with that? Do you understand that?
I understand your thought process. Yes. Yeah, I definitely understand your thought process.
Let me stop you there though. Do you believe my thought process can be? It's not right now, but do you believe my thought process can be in your way of, you're smart in your way of thinking?
Do I believe that that the people can be
the government? If you believe that the government, first of all, if you believe government should be by and of the people, you believe that, right?
Well, the government is here by and of the people. I mean, we elect them, so yeah.
Good, but if you believe that, my question is, you don't think it is, because right now you still talk about the government having power. There's a particular...
No. That's not what I'm saying. So, okay. So what I'm saying is that yes, our government is. What I'm saying is that the government is supposed to be by and for the people. What I'm telling you is that historically, right, the government, as it gains more and more power, and as it cripples its citizens, well, as it gains more and more power, it limits the liberties of citizens. So hold on. So because that it limits the liberties of citizens, that is what I do not support, and I support a constitutionally limited government, which we do not have now. They have completely eroded the Constitution by inflicting more and more tyranny upon citizens.
I don't know what that means. I honestly don't know what that means.
It just means that I don't know how to explain it. It just means that the government has power. Government has power, and they're taking power from us. That's what.
Stop a second. Okay, here's this. We the people have power, taking it away from we the people.
So government officials that we elect, right, are taking our liberties from us. Yes.
Stop then. You're okay. Good. Thank you. We're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
So you just said the people we elect are taking power away from us. Do we have the ability to unelect them?
Sure, but I mean,
stop. No, wait.
Hold on. No, it's a complex question.
Let me tell you why I want to get there.
Are you going to let me speak?
Yes, I will. I promise, because you speak a lot. I promise. I just want to engage you in a particular thought process here, and then I'm going to take your thought process. I'll then give you the full thing to say back. So you just said that people we elect continue to take more power. I then say, can we unelect them? You said yes. But I didn't allow you to say the but yet, because I wanted to go one step further, because of another TikTok that I heard from you. And I said to that, when I looked at that person, I'm like, my God, why didn't you take him here? Because I really wanted to hear your response. And that is, you gave the impression that while you don't want government to do certain things, you think it is okay for the private sector, business, to do something.
Like what specifically?
I don't remember what was on the TikTok. I should have,
Generally speaking, I would say, yeah, but it's kind of like case by case.
Yeah, because my tenet.
So basically, this would clear it up for you. So I believe, so when it comes to the government, right? I believe that the government is really only responsible for protecting life, liberty, and property. That's really it.
That's what you want.
what I believe that government is supposed to be for. Yes.
Right.
That's what our founding fathers believe, that it
That's
should just
not
be
true.
protecting life, property, and yes, it is.
The preamble itself puts that away, because once it talks about wanting the welfare of the people, that was not defined.
It was defined. It's
No,
just
it was not.
So you're talking about the general welfare clause?
Yes.
The general welfare clause is fine, but that doesn't give the government power to do anything it wants in terms of welfare. It has to be regarded to the enumerated powers of the Constitution.
And sure, right? and let's give an example, because you know.
So like universal health care and things like that is not under the enumerated powers of the Constitution.
Says who?
The Constitution.
Okay, what part of the military is?
The military is embedded in the Constitution.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, the general welfare. I mean, who said that we had?
And to be clear, when it says military, though, I mean, I don't think it actually might not say military, but it really just says like armed forces, right? And at the time, and at the time, just to be clear, like a lot of the founding fathers didn't really believe in a standing military. They really believed in like separate militias and things.
And well, you know, that I don't know, because I can't read their minds and they're all dead. But the thing about it is, But the thing about it is, I think what happens with constitutionalists, and this is where I think you have to agree with me, is that we have different interpretations of these things. In other words, when I use the general welfare clause, I want to use it. And when you want to use
it, you want to use it for whatever you want to use it for.
You bet your life I do.
Exactly, and that's not what it was made for.
But you don't know that.
I do know that, because that's what the founding. Okay, so that's what the founding fathers would go in and they would say. Like you had people like shoot, who's my favorite founding father? James Madison, right?
Mm-hmm. And a lot that was cool. Yeah.
James Madison's my favorite. He created the Second Amendment. Second Amendment is my wheelhouse, man. That's my thing. The right to bear arms. I want citizens having the right to own nuclear weapons, man. So anyway,
I saw you say that in one of your TikToks. I wanted to listen. When all I said when I saw that TikTok is, damn, this guy's an entertainer.
Dude, it's fact. So here's the thing. When I say things like that, and I'm kind of negating for what I was just about to go into, but it's okay. This is kind of more entertaining anyway. Is that so when I say things like that, you got to understand, especially on TikTok. See, what you're doing is more podcast style, and it's I think it's a different type of audience. Like when you're on TikTok, like you have 60 seconds to get your point across, right?
And you are entertaining, brother. You're entertaining.
You have to be semi-entertaining. Now, I may say things that are like, it's for like shock value, but that does not mean that what I'm saying is disingenuous or even untrue, or that I don't believe it. But I may phrase it in a way that'll capture your attention, like nuclear weapons. Now, to be clear, I don't want citizens owning nuclear weapons. I don't want the government owning nuclear weapons, but I believe that we have the right to own those things.
Okay, now here's the thing, and if there's one thing I would hope this super conservative talking to this socialist Democrat.
I'm not super conservative, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah. I want you to leave this conversation knowing that we are going to continue talking. And not only that, but I want you to start thinking more about the government mean more of we the people. And I think for us to move forward in this country,
but I feel like that doesn't really mean anything. I feel like when
it does mean a lot, brother. It means a lot. It means a lot.
What does it mean? Can you break that down for me?
Yes, it means that we have to take. You know, one of the tenets of I don't know if you've ever been to my website. It's called egbertowillies.com. And one of the tenets of the website that I have is political involvement should be a requirement for citizenship. I'm originally from Central America, Panama. Okay, and one of the things that I dislike the most here is I would have given you hell about 4 years ago that you were not politically involved when our politics has a distinct effect on you.
Yeah.
And I'm not even only talking about you as a black man. You have not yet. I've seen a lot of your black issues TikTok, and that's going to take another show because I don't think we have enough time to do it here. Because I'm going to say, brother, you got a problem, but we'll talk about that.
No, man. We're
going to talk about that another time.
You can't say that, drop a bomb, man, and then be like, oh, we're going to talk about it later.
You know what? That's good. You know, I'm learning something from you though, right? You know how to do that. You know how to say, and we're going to talk about that the next time. So I'm going to learn that from you, okay? My conservative brother just taught me some stuff.
It's all right, man. It's all good.
But look, hey, but I think what I want to get out of this is that I want you have enough knowledge. You have enough people that follow you that I think we have to get to the position where you tell folks that government is we the people and not this abstraction or not this other thing, so that I'm not telling them not to engage as not to engage as conservatives. Engage as conservatives if you want, but engage and not look at it as the enemy. Because one of the reasons Trump is so bad at what he does, even if some of the things that you think he does is good, is because he has allowed that to continue. Not to say I'll make government work, but somehow government is that thing that doesn't work. And if we get there, we're screwed as a country. And I don't know if people can fathom that. We have to get to the place where I want to be.
But see, I don't believe in that.
Wait, you and I can have a civil discussion here. We having fun. We can talk.
Sure.
Right. And some of the stuff that I told you, you may not want to admit this, but I'm gonna plant a damn seed in your head, right? But the thing about it is, we have to be able to get there. You plant seeds in my head. We got to get there. But we're not gonna get there if people like you only preach that stuff is on the outside. So one of the reasons I wanted to get you on your show is to say, hey, I want people to see a conservative that know what the hell he's doing, but I want you to make a difference.
Sure, man. I mean, I believe that I am trying to make a difference, right? So my whole thing, my whole meaning for even joining TikTok and so on and so forth is to influence particularly a younger generation, because I think that they are not only just the most politically just the most political generation that we've had from a younger group of people, but I'm more likely to be able to influence and change their mind. It's difficult the older that you become to be able to have your mind change, particularly if you've thought a certain way for so long, right?
Right.
So my whole thing is that, look, yes, the government is supposed to be for the people, but my whole thing, it really just comes down to really just human nature, is just the more power that people get, the more prone they are to being corrupt. And if you look at things historically, specifically in the United States, if you look at things historically, our rights and liberties have been taken from us the more that government, the more power that government has, right? That's not even a correlation and causation. That's just that is what it is, right? So the more power that government has, the more and more liberties that they are going to be able to take away from you, right? So I don't like, so it doesn't matter how big or small like an unconstitutional thing is for me. I'm like, no. So like, let me give you an example, right? So there was this thing that came out that Trump did, I want to say maybe like a year ago, and he made it federally illegal for like animal abuse, right? It was like some kind of animal abuse thing, and a whole bunch of Republicans and everybody's rallying around this, and they're all like, yes, he did this. And I'm a huge, I love my dog more than I love any other person probably on this planet, man. So, you know what I mean? Like that's my homie, right? So I'm a huge dog person, man. I'm very into pets, really, because I eat animals, but like very into pets, right? So so I would be like totally cool, but I'm like, guys, this is totally unconstitutional. Like the federal government does not have the power to do this. So even though I like that law, it is unconstitutional, so I cannot support it. So I'm pretty consistent when it comes to things like that.
Now, let me tell you, in life, there are places where you should always be consistent. I think there are places where consistency is overrated. And I do think, I take humanity over consistency. I take doing well over consistency. In fact, I believe that if I have to do well today and change the Constitution tomorrow to bring it into compliance with humanity, that's where I stand. And that's what I try to tell a lot of folks, right? I like to tell them that, you know, I don't care what the Constitution says, really, if I am doing something that's going to move humanity forward. Because if the Constitution is, but
what does that mean? That's totally subjective. What is?
Yes, it is. Yes, you're right. It is subjective. Let me give an example. It is subjective, right? We have the worst healthcare system on the planet. That's a fact. Unfortunately, we don't learn. We have people in these think tanks that have very good psychologists and otherwise to continuously have us vote against our own interests when it comes to healthcare. That's just how it is. And if you take a look at, you know, all the metrics that talks about the health of a nation, you know, we are the richest nation and we are one of the poorest health in the OAC. Now, that said, I know that one of the reasons I have a problem with Barrett being elected is whereas Roberts and others are willing to deform the Constitution, you know, your precious Constitution, in such a manner that
well, your precious Constitution, it protects your rights too, man.
Well, you know, I don't see how it does that to a certain extent, but that's another subject. We're gonna talk about that the next time I have you on to talk about black people. But anyhow, yeah, we're gonna have that talk, brother.
Okay.
We're gonna have that talk. But anyhow, so I err on the side of fixing a problem now. And if we have to modify the Constitution later, so be it. I don't put a lot of faith in that document.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Just to kind of gauge where your mentality is here for this.
Mm-hmm.
So if you said that if we knew somehow, we just knew definitively, right? Factually, we would know that if you took away every person besides the government,
Mm-hmm.
if you took away every non-government citizen here, if you took away every non-government citizen's weapons,
Mm-hmm.
right, took away all of their weapons, that we would quote unquote be a much safer country, that there would be less deaths, less murder, would you support that bill going forward?
I would have to get the numbers, and here's, you know, I would have
in this hypothetical,
I'm not trying to dodge you. I'm not trying to dodge you, okay? Because here's the deal: there are people who really like guns for sports. You know, they're going out there and they're shooting their stuff. I really don't want to stop that person from having their gun at all. I don't. So if an amendment came out that says we ban everybody from having a gun, I would probably not go along with that either, because just like I don't want a lot of my rights taken away, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have to look at something that you like to do, as long as we can do it safely. In other words, I don't want your rights infringing on mine. Okay.
So you wouldn't support that then?
I don't think I could support.
Then that's good, man. Then that's good.
But no,
I'm
no,
glad
I
to
don't.
hear that.
I don't want you to. I don't want you to be too happy. Okay.
Well, I'm happy, man. You pretty much said it
But
for
here's
me, so
the deal. The thing about it is, that's a caricature. The caricature is that we progressives want to take your weapons, and we
no.
That, you know,
that wasn't the point. That wasn't the point that I was making. The point that I was trying to make is, it doesn't even have to be guns, right? I just use that as an example. The point that I'm trying to make is that if some bill or some law was coming across, or some bill came across, and that if we voted it into law, that it would restrict people's liberties in some way, right? Whether it be guns, whether it be something else, right? If it restricted people's liberties in some way, but it would quote unquote make us a safer nation, would you support it? That's what I'm asking.
Okay, now here's the thing. There's a trade-off, right? If I'm driving a car, if I have a speed limit set to 70 miles an hour versus 30 miles an hour right now, we will save a lot of lives. Mm-hmm. We still support 70 miles an hour. So I think you can see that most people.
But that's different. You don't have a right to drive your car. I'm talking about.
No, but I'm not. But I'm not. You see, you keep talking about rights with the Constitution. Yes. You're talking to somebody who really doesn't care about the Constitution.
I'm not. It doesn't matter if it's the Constitution. I'm talking about rights.
I understand, but the only thing that can acknowledge our rights is the Constitution.
No, man. No.
Wait. Let me explain what I mean by that. Okay, let me explain what I mean by that. I think I have inalienable rights. I do believe that, right? Okay. You do. We all do.
Yeah, I know that
we
do.
But what I'm saying is, when we go into our legal framework, we have to define what those inalienable rights are. It's that simple, right? I mean, when we go to a court of law, what we look at is the code of law.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the only reason I said that. So I mean, but as it comes to, I'm saying, I think the logical thing is, most people are pragmatic. You know, most people know that the easiest way.
I disagree.
I think we have.
I think that you put way too much faith in humanity, and I don't put as much faith.
No. Let me tell you what I put. You want me to tell you what has happened to a lot of humanity after we've socialized? We have socialized. We've taken civics. We have done a whole lot of things over time, and I don't want to be condescending with you, but you're young at 30 years old, and you never got civics in school, because those powers that be realized that teaching you physics would have made you more governmentally aware, would have made you more a citizen that knew about all these things. So we took civics away, and we took a lot of things away because we wanted to take away the power of we the people. And it wasn't the government sector that did that. It was the private sector that did that through the Powell Manifesto and other things. And there's a reason to do that. I always try to tell people the following, my friend. The difference between government and corporations is that, theoretically speaking, government, if you don't like them, you can vote their butts out. But corporations are not democracies. Corporations can do whatever they want to do, including the purchase of the government, which is a lot of
but what you're saying is a gross oversimplification.
Yes, it is. You're right. You're right.
So you made the way that you put it forward, and I'm not saying that this is what you believe, but this is what it comes across as, is that when you say, well, we can just vote them out. It's really not that simple.
No,
right?
I agree.
Not that simple to just vote them out.
Work.
Right?
No.
Well, not only does it take work to get them out, but these corrupt politicians and so on and so forth that have their influences, and they have their connections and all of these things. It's not that simple.
But guess what? You know what's interesting, brother? Here's the interesting thing. We still have one person, one vote. One person, one vote. So what I'm saying is, if we allow ourselves to be maligned by the plutocracy, where they convince us who to vote for,
yes, they manipulate us 100%. 100%,
and that's what I'm
mainly
saying.
due to mainstream media. But yes,
here, let me give you some trouble now. You manipulate too, because you.
How do I manipulate? Well, first of all, even if I manipulate,
no, wait. I'm giving you some kudos,
like,
dude. I'm giving you some kudos. All right.
Okay.
You manipulate too.
How do I manipulate?
You go to your channel, and I'm going to tell you something.
Yeah.
If I weren't where I was,
I'd say I educate, not manipulate.
No, you manipulate. Yeah. If I weren't where I was politically, etc., I would leave your channel a conservative. And not only would I leave your channel a conservative, I would also leave your channel thinking that, and we'll talk to this another time because we got to close this out. But I would also leave your channel as someone who really thinks there's an issue with Black people.
Yeah, I think that would be ignorant and closed-minded, man.
No, it wouldn't be. Again, I'm telling you. Remember, you're the one putting the information.
I just want to be clear. I just want to be clear for all of the viewers that are watching this right now.
Please do. Yeah, go ahead.
This man, and I'm not saying anything wrong. I'm saying this man has dropped a couple times now. It's like, look, your issue with Black people, but he don't want to go into it right now.
Because it's a whole show. And
I know that, but what I'm saying is that you can't bring it up then because I got nothing. I can't respond to it.
Okay, I tell you what I'll do. I'll do. No, it is fair. Of course it's fair. And tell them that some other time we'll talk about it. If you want.
Yeah. Some other time we'll come on and we'll talk. I have no issues. I want to be very clear. I have no issues with Black people. I have issues with people that just lie or manipulate or fabricate or whatever they have to do for the truth, man. I just believe in truth. And just because something may affect I may hurt more quote unquote Black people's feelings, or I may hurt this group of people's feelings more because I'm saying something that goes against the collective mindset, does not mean that I have issues with Black people. It means that I have issues with your ideology and your reasoning. And it may be more Black people that I have an issue with their reasoning, but not them just for being Black. I just want to be clear on that.
And I would give you that. Actually, I will give you that. I think a lot of the reasonings were wrong, and that's what we'll discuss when we
sure that's fine. That's fine.
But look, let me tell you something, Tyler Blunt, man. I found you through a friend, and I thought I went to your channel and kind of really respected.
I'm glad she hooked us up, man. It was definitely awesome to be on the show, man.
And so we should do this again sometime. And look, keep up the good work, but keep an open mind, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you for letting me be here, and thank you for everyone who gave me the opportunity just to listen to what I had to say.
Thank you so kindly, Tyler Blunt, man, my favorite Black conservative. You like that?
I like that, man.
All right, take care, bud.
Okay, folks. Look, I enjoyed Tyler. Tyler bought the Kool-Aid. Tyler was not politically aware in the beginning of his life. And what I wanted to do is engage Tyler in a manner that was enjoyable and also that people would listen to. And I hope I accomplished that. By no means is Tyler very aware of the realities of his movement, but that's okay. I am going to entertain him, and with entertaining him as well, meeting his audience, which I think is important. We can't just stay within our silos. I think we have to expand it. And the mere fact that we can develop some sort of a rapport, I think presents itself for something in a positive manner. Anyhow, folks, please remember that book that you see on the screen. You know, this is the time that I have to do this. Please consider getting it. It's worth it. How to talk to your right-wing relatives, friends, and neighbors. You just saw me have a pleasant conversation with a guy, a right-wing ideologue. It's good, not a bad guy. But the thing about it is, we could have a conversation, and whether many believe it or not, in subsequent videos, I've actually heard Tyler make some senses of the things that we've spoke on the show. So it's not going to be a big change. These things a lot of times happen incrementally. So have the faith that what we are going to do ultimately is getting that more than 50 plus one that, you know, we all covet and want. But anyhow, go ahead and get my book. You'll be able to see some techniques that we use to talk to people. Otherwise, please consider going to our store, which is at politicsdoneright.com/store. If you go to politicsdoneright.com/store, I will send you the book with my autograph and a bumper sticker. So, you know, I think you'll get to throw your bumper sticker either on your car, on your computer, or somewhere to help us move Politics Done Right going forward. Alternatively, you can support us by being one of our Patreons. Patreon is spelled Patreon. So that is politicsdoneright.com. I'm just putting that in now, /Patreon. politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. If you are listening to us on YouTube, please click on that join button and become a member of our posse. If you're not on YouTube, if you're listening on Twitch, Periscope, Facebook Live, here is the link for you to get to become a YouTube member. Just go to politicsdoneright.com/YouTube. That is politicsdoneright.com/YouTube. But folks, what we do need is your support, because there's a lot to do. If you look at what guys like Bluntman and these other folks on the right are doing, they're building their base in the cloud. They're building. We have to build better. I kind of like what Biden had to say. We have to build back better. And we build back better by ensuring that we can stay here. Now, as you guys know, I'm in DC taking care of my kid, making sure my girl is doing just fine, but we know that the mission must continue. So we walk with our mission. We fly with our mission. We lead with our mission. And that is what we all intend and continue to do. Thank you so kindly for being here. I know you have options. I do appreciate you being here. Again, please go ahead and click on join. If you're on YouTube, become a member of our YouTube posse. Or if you're not there, if you are on any other thing, just go ahead and join us by going to politicsdoneright.com/YouTube. I thank you so kindly for spending this time with me. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And I think you guys know how I end this baby. It goes something like, I am what? Out! Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTO